What is up, dudes? I'm XIKIZOID, and today we're continuing Andromeda 6. Episode 5 is out. It has been out for 2 days, but today is the first time that I'm actually able to play it, just because of some personal stuff. I actually was working on a video called Vincent and his biography. If you're interested in Vincent van Gogh, I really recommend that you go and watch that video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to it as well, so you can find it a little bit more easily. But yeah, let's jump into episode 5. I'm super excited about this. I really cannot wait to find out what happens in the story. So let's just jump in. Yes. Oh, so we're back in the palace, actually. My mind wanders as I pace through the corridors of the palace, the echo of my footsteps swallowed by the carpeted floor. Another day passes in this place that's supposed to be my home. As usual, the days are much the same. With a sigh, I find myself wondering what my life would have been like if I wasn't born royal. Where would I go? What would I do with my life? While I walk, the late afternoon sun sets behind the windows, giving way to a softly darkened sky as night descends on Goldis. I'm not supposed to be in this wing, but since it's largely unused, I can wander its halls without fear of being caught. Luckily, the secret tunnels and passages I have found over the years have afforded me a way to move around unseen. I will never not be grateful for that. Hearing voices nearby, I slow my steps to listen. It's most likely just a couple of gossiping servants, but still, they might have something interesting to say. So we're gonna eavesdrop on the gossiping servants. So we say, I creep closer to the corner of the hallway, straining my ears to hear them better. I told you, Seraph. I don't know what you think you overheard, but it certainly wasn't that. A familiar feminine voice cuts through the space, and when I recognize it, I take in a deep breath to avoid being detected. Who is this? How dumb do you think I am, Anne? I know what you're planning and I want in on it. Oh my god, look at her, she's so beautiful and I don't know who she is. Could that be our sister, actually? And that is obviously Vex, you know. So, there we go, Nerissa, she's our sister, dude. Oh my god, I'm so excited to finally be able to see her. We have heard so much about Nerissa, and it's just so nice to see her, finally. So Nerissa says, why should I trust you? Why shouldn't you? I haven't given you any reason to doubt me before. There's a pause, and then a soft sigh. You understand what this could cost you, Vex? All of us, if we were discovered before the time is right? Not one of us will be spared. I promise. I promise you, I'll do whatever I can to help you succeed. Could she be part of the whole conspiracy to kill the royal family? If so, then it's really weird. But I can't wait to find out what's going on. So let's continue reading. So I peek around the corner just in time to see Vex take a knee in front of my sister. You have my loyalty, Queen Nerissa. Oh, so she's planning on becoming the queen. That's it. She says, "Who's there?" Oh! I gulp as Nerissa looks in my direction, knowing I've been caught. Stepping out from behind the wall, I attempt a casual smile. I was just coming from the gardens. What are you two doing? She smooths out a wrinkle in her dress and gives me a fond smile. Just discussing palace security. Boring, really. I feel Vex's amused gaze on me, his lips tilted to one side as he watches the exchange. My skin warms beneath his stare, the rhythm of my heart picking up speed. I spare a glance at Nerissa, wondering if she's noticed. If she has, she's not giving anything away, because if you remember, we had that choice where us and Vex were sort of like a thing, sort of like a couple. And yeah, I wonder if our sister knows, if Nerissa knows about this whole ordeal. So, I'm sorry to interrupt you, or what kind of business? I'm gonna say what kind of business because I'm very curious about what they were discussing. Can I know what you were talking about? Nerissa gives me a small smile but shakes her head. It's nothing that can't wait until another time. She turns to Vex again, her lips pursed. Though he towers over her, her presence never fails to command attention. That's true. My eyes keep darting over to her just because she's so beautiful. I mean, look at that dress. It's such a nice champagne-colored dress. And with the sheer sleeves, it's just so amazing. And she has a little crown. It's not a crown, it's a tiara actually, but yeah. So We'll continue this later, Lieutenant Seraph. Yes, Princess. Vex throws me a careless wink before he turns to go, leaving me alone with Nerissa. Releasing a breath, Nerissa smiles at me, a weight seeming to fall from her shoulders. I know that Kai L3, her guard of sorts, is nowhere to be seen. Why is the guard with like a number or like a code name? That's so weird. Strange, even given how close they are, and even stranger given his penchant for keeping a close eye on Vex. Shall we take a walk, Kiki? Yeah, sure. With a nod, I step up beside her, letting her set the pace as we walk along the corridor together. After a few steps, she turns to look at me, the familiar scent of her floral perfume drifting through the space between us. I take in a deep breath, letting myself linger within the comfort of the scent. Do I even need to ask what you're doing on this side of the palace? She gives me a look of mock severity. I know that she doesn't mind me exploring the place, but unfortunately the king's orders far outweigh hers. I sigh and give a small shrug of my shoulders. I was bored. Nerissa nods in understanding, a kind of darkness shadowing her features. It won't be like this forever, you know. What do you mean? She studies me thoughtfully? What's that word? I think it meant to say thoughtfully, before finally giving a small shake of her head. Nothing, don't mind me, it's been a long day. I think she's planning on overthrowing the king, our father, and she wants to become the queen. But I don't know what went wrong, why she was murdered as well, we'll see. So for a good few moments she seems lost in thought, or perhaps she's simply enjoying the peace of the empty wing, I can't be sure. Oh, we can ask her a couple of things, so either you seem worried, is everything okay, or was Vex bothering you? Ooh, which one should we choose? I think I'm gonna ask, was Vex bothering you? He seems to do that a lot. She stops walking and turns to face me, giving a small breath of laughter. No more than usual. Good, because if he was, I'd have to kick his A. Nerissa laughs again, giving me an amused look. I love the sound of her laughter, the way that it fills me with warmth. I would pay to see that. I return her smile, hesitating a moment before speaking again. If there's anything I can do to help you... She sighs quietly, her eyes dancing with affection. You help me every day, Kiki, by simply being you. Oh, that's cute. I would never ask any more from you, though I would appreciate it if you didn't mention to anyone what you overheard earlier. I didn't. She holds up a hand and my words trail off into silence. I know what you heard, and it's alright. There are a few people I truly trust in this world, but I know that I can count on you. With a nod, I confirm her words. She can trust me. Then a small thought crosses my mind. Can I trust her too? Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know what was going on between her and Vex back there, nor do I understand why he referred to my sister as Queen. Come on, you're not dumb. I mean, we know why. A small trickle of doubt that creeps into my mind, worrying that they're up to something that might not end well for either of them. My sister is a series of walking contradictions, warm yet cold, cunning but kind. She plays her parts, wears different masks, yet I can't help but think that there's so much more going on beneath the surface than even I'm aware of. The one thing I've never doubted is that she loves me, and that in turn she's the most important person in my life. That thought alone is enough for me. Always, you can always trust me. With a smile, she reaches forward to brush her fingers over the side of my face. And I'll always be there for you, no matter what. Okay, so... Oh, we're back to the ship. Calderon says to us, snap out a bit, stowaway. I asked you a question. Sorry, what was it again? I said it's time to do some combat training. Oh, is it? If you think you're setting foot on Orion, you'll need to square up first. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm ready, definitely. Sounds good, I'm in. He smiles and gives me an approving nod. Look at his face. That's what I like to hear. He shifts on the spot as though assessing me thoroughly, weeding out any weaknesses. You'll have a choice. I want you to be comfortable with the combat style you decide to stick with. The crew have volunteered to train you in whatever you choose. Since we have different specialists on board, you're lucky enough to have options. Shooting and firearms, close combat fighting, and knives or hand-to-hand combat and defense. He crosses his arms over his broad chest and gives me a pointed look. So what'll it be? And I think the best. Okay, the choice you make will determine your combat style for the rest of the game. For a non-lethal option, choose firearms and select option to stun later on in this episode. Yeah, I'm gonna select firearms. That was my choice nonetheless, even when before I knew this, that we could have the option for lethal and non-lethal. But definitely I'm gonna choose firearms just because it's much more like, I think it's much safer to shoot from a distance, than just hand-to-hand combat with knives or stuff like that. So yeah, firearms and shooting. I guess I'll take the guns. Fine, June will be training you and Ryona. Meet them down at the docks in 5. Okay. He strolls off towards the bridge, his shoulders tight, and I slip into my room to change into something suitable for physical activity. Where do we have clothes from, though? Do we have like a 3D printer at the on the ship? Like, what is this? So, sorting through the assortment of clothes I've acquired. Oh, spares from the crew and a few things I've been able to pick up on Terranium. There we go, that was answered very quickly for us. I find a pair of comfortable pants and a plain t-shirt. My room is still pretty bare, but Damon had lent me a couple of books, insisting I had to read them, and Ryona had gifted me with a small plant to make the place look more homely. And then there were some of the notes and drawings that Bash had left on my door, the ones that always make me smile. I kept them as a reminder that I don't have to be alone. Okay. After finishing in my room, I take a minute to duck into the kitchen and grab a bottle of water before making my way downstairs to join June and Ryona. I'm excited to finally be learning something useful, something that will help me take care of myself in the battle ahead. Excited but a little nervous at the same time. I've never done anything like this before, but I know I've got a good teacher. Hopefully that will be enough to drill some skill into me. Okay. When I reach the docks, I find June already there. He looks up as I approach, his face softening somehow. Kiki, I'm glad you chose to train with me. You are? He nods, a soft smile forming on his lips. It doesn't take long for it to slowly fade. Where we're going, it'll make all of us feel better to know how to have a basic set of skills to defend yourself with. Is Orion really so bad? Not Orion. The planet itself is safe enough, but the facility we're going to... He hesitates, his eyes glazed over as old demons creep up on him. Alyssa snuck those bombs onto our ship as a means for us to destroy the Prime facility and the mines, and I'm on board with that. But will be the first time I've been back since I... He stops himself, pinning me with those stormy grey eyes, the ones fighting back 100 shades of green. I don't know how I will handle being back there. I give him a reassuring smile, but before I can say anything, the sound of footsteps on metal stairs echoes through the space. And we have Ryona. She's so worried, like, look at her. Sorry I'm late, she says. Ryona's soft voice cuts through the silence as she descends the stairs and hurries over. When she stands in front of us, catching her breath, she gives me an apologetic smile. I've been doing some tests on Vex. I lost track of time. It's fine, you're here now. So, I'm not gonna ask about Vex. I don't think we need to, like, put any doubts in the mind of the crew that we still care for him, because we really don't. Like, at this point, he betrayed us, even though he is a little bit of a victim of this new king, this new, like, emperor. I don't believe that we really should have any pity for him, really. So we're not going to ask about Vex. I decide it's not the best time to bring the subject up, so I wait for June to continue. Whoa, the way he flew through the screen, did you guys see that? So, June hovers over a selection of weapons nearby, picking out a handheld gun and holding it out to me. Here, take this, it's a blaster. A blaster, boy. I take it handle first, and know the weight of the weapon in my hand, the coolness of the metal against my skin. See that small panel on the side? Slide it back. That switch gives you the option to stun or kill. Make sure it's set to stun, that way we won't destroy the entire ship if we have any slip-ups. After first making sure the blaster is set to stun, I then slide the panel back into place where it locks with a click. Ryona? June hands another blaster over to her and she takes it tentatively. Yeah, she's very afraid. I really hate having to do this. She's more of a pacifist, even though she really yearns for revenge. From what we know about her, she really wants to get her revenge. but she really is very wary of using weapons and stuff like that. So June says, I know, but it's the only way you'll grow comfortable using a weapon again. With a sigh, Rayona checks her own switch on the blaster and adjusts the weapon in her hand. I'm sorry, June, I just don't trust myself. Well, I trust you if that's any help. She lets out a small disbelieving laugh and cocks her head to the side. I suppose it helps a little. June takes a small device now bigger than a teapot and sets it on the ground further back. When he activates it, a large wall of energy emanates from the device, cutting through the space. A couple of holographic targets appear fully rendered in front of us. Oh my god, that is really reminds me of Star Wars and one of the first movie where Luke is training. It's just so funny to me. So, and by the way, I love Star Wars. One of my favorite franchises ever. So June says, we'll be using the simulator for target practice. You can shoot at it safely and it will absorb the energy from the blasters. We'll start off easy with stationary targets. He crosses to one side, folding his arms over his chest as he looks towards us. Rayona, you first. I hear the tremble in Rayona's breath as she inhales, holding the blaster in front of her. Then she fires, 5 shots in a row, or with terrifying accuracy. She seems to know exactly what she is doing and how to handle a weapon, so it makes me wonder why she needs these lessons after all. Good job, Rai. Kiki, your turn now. I wonder if you're gonna get to do something. So I mimic the way Rayona had held the blaster, raising and pointing it at the targets. Oh, so yeah, we do have a choice here. My hands are shaking. I don't think I'll ever be able to do this. I'm not sure how well I'll do, but I'll give it my best shot. Or with the choice that I'm gonna go with is I'm confident that I can do this. I just need to focus. Yeah. I pull the trigger once, feeling the blaster recoil as a bolt of energy surges forward and soars straight past the targets. Give it another try. Okay, taking in a deep breath, I aim my blaster at the target and pull the trigger. This time I manage to hit the hollow in the chest. I try 3 more times, and every time I feel more and more comfortable with the weapon in my hand, managing to hit the target again and again. Look at that, you're a natural. Yeah, we spent the rest of the afternoon training together, moving from stationary targets to moving ones and then doing a small battle simulation. Damn. I surprise myself by breezing through the simulator, and I can tell that June and Rayona are just as stunned. Yeah, I think the best way to approach something new is just to have a little bit more confidence than usual, and just try to focus as much as you can. So anything that you haven't tried before, just do it, you know. Like Shia LaBeouf says, just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
Okay. It feels so natural to hold a blaster in my hand as though I've been doing it my entire life. I think we can leave it here for now. We might be able to squeeze in another session in the morning before we arrive. Sure, thanks for training me, June. Not a problem. Alright. I hand the gun back to June and he head over to put it by the rest, making sure everything is tidy and in its proper place. When I look to Rayona, I find that she hasn't moved. She stands perfectly still, her eyes fixed on the holograms. Ooh, I'm gonna go and speak to Rayona, definitely. I step closer to Rayona, slowly so I don't startle her. She seems to be lost in her own thoughts. Rayona, is everything okay? She doesn't reply, doesn't do anything besides stare at the targets, eyes glazed in thought and her mouth slightly parted. Rayona? Huh? She jumps a little and turns to me, her eyes wide. Then she shakes her head to clear it. Sorry, my mind was elsewhere. I give her an encouraging smile to try and ease her discomfort. I'm not gonna ask her about it because we clearly know what the reason is, because she wasn't in that battle when all of her friends died, basically, so I'm gonna say that's okay, it happens to us all sometimes. We all space out every now and then, I'm definitely guilty of it. She gives me a small smile, shaking away whatever memories are lingering around on the edge of her mind. You did well today, did you enjoy the training? I'm gonna say I did. It feels good to be learning something helpful, yeah. I enjoyed learning something new and how to protect myself a little. I don't want to have to rely on everyone else for that. I understand that feeling. You seem to manage yourself well with that weapon. I've had practice and June is a good teacher. That he is. She's quiet for a moment, her long fingers threading together nervously. Then she speaks suddenly. I'm worried about Orion, not only for June, but I have a terrible feeling in my chest. Like something awful is going to happen. She manages a wobbly smile, pushing her hair back behind her ears. It's probably just me being paranoid. I don't mean to worry you. Oh, I'm not gonna flirt with her. I really don't want to, just because so far we're going down the path of like Ayame, her path, flirting. So yeah, definitely, I'm gonna say we'll all be together. It'll be okay. You have 6 other people watching your back. All of us will be together. I think that as long as we're together, we'll be fine. Her eyes crinkle as her lips softly curve, and some of the warmth slowly starts to return to her face. You're right, and I have faith in the crew. We can see this through. That's the spirit. He chuckles softly, giving me a fond look. It's nice to have you around, Kiki. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I enjoy spending time with someone who doesn't know every tiny detail about my life. It's refreshing. I feel like I can be more myself without worrying about judgment. Not that the crew judges me, it's just, I suppose I judge myself more than anything. I meet her small smile with one of my own. I'm glad to see she's feeling a little better. I hope that one day I'll know you as well as the rest of the crew. And I'll never judge no matter what I learn about you. I believe that, she says. Silence settles between us, but it's the comfortable kind. Rayona smiles again, her eyes crinkling at the sides as she does so. Thank you for coming to speak to me, Kiki. You've made me feel a lot better. Yeah, of course. You don't have to thank me. I like talking to you. I like it too. How are you doing, by the way, with Vex being on board and everything that's happened? I let out a deep breath, steeling myself against the lingering pain. I had promised I would be strong, and I'm determined to stick to that. I'm doing okay. Despite everything, I know I can make it through. Rayona smiles and gives me a gentle pat on the arm. I admire your strength, Kiki. Not everyone has it in them to move on from tragedy. With a last smile, she glances towards the stairs, hesitating for a moment before she leaves. I should really head back and check on Vex. He and Damon have most likely torn each other to shreds by now. Good luck with that. I'll see you later, Kiki. Okay, and I think we're going to end this episode here. And yeah, let's just read the last thing here. I smile after her as she goes, watching her silver hair sway behind her. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. Leave a dislike if you didn't. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.